Turn the lights down low, grab some popcorn close. Witty, witty, a show. Got the movie reviews, talking films all night. Blockbusters and indie lights. Witty keeps it tight, every word's a delight. Witty's got the scoop. Ooh, ooh, reviews that make you move. Ooh, ooh, he breaks it down so smooth. Ooh, 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 in Witty's movie groove. Emotions ain't too hard, he knows each part by heart. Witty's words are art, every take is smart. Got the fresh insight, films come alive at night. Witty makes them bright, in his review spotlight. Witty's got the scoop. Ooh, ooh, reviews that make you move. Ooh, ooh, he breaks it down so smooth. Ooh, 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 in Witty's movie groove. Got the fresh insight, films come alive at night. Witty makes them bright, in his review spotlight. Witty's got the scoop. Ooh, ooh, reviews that make you move. Ooh, ooh, he breaks it down so smooth. Ooh, 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 in Witty's movie groove.
Hello, welcome to the TIFF 2024 selection show. My name is Keith Whittier. I appreciate you being here. I am the movie reviewer for Ottawa Life magazine. I'm also somebody who is extremely passionate about film. And as a coworker says, we are about to embark on the month of Keith. There are a lot of things about the month of September that I absolutely love. And we kick that off with the Toronto International Film Festival. I think TIFF this year has the potential of having probably one of the best lineups that we have seen in a long, long time. Now, of course, this really kicks off the road to award season. Of course, by award season, we're talking the big ones like the Academy Awards. And we have seen over the last few years, it's been a little different because usually the Best Picture winner goes through TIFF. But we haven't seen that over the last few years. Last year, Oppenheimer didn't play a major film festival. Before that, we had Everything Everywhere All at Once that went to South by Southwest. And before that, we had Coda that went to Sundance. So while TIFF definitely has different award winners, the Best Picture hasn't been one. Well, this year, the lineup is stacked. I tweeted earlier this week, I went from thinking, oh, you know what, I'm going to see maybe like 3 movies a day to, well, maybe I'll get sleep at some point in October, but I don't know. I'm being a little facetious, but there is a bit of there is a bit of that FOMO that does kick in because you don't want to miss out. So you want to time what movies are coming out relatively soon that you can see in theaters versus what are the movies that you might not get another opportunity to see versus the movies that you know are going to most likely get nominated for Academy Awards that you definitely want to to check out. So I appreciate you taking the time and being here. Thank you. We're going to get to kind of what we're going to be doing in just a moment. Just want to, a couple of people have joined in, want to say hello. Irina coming in with a hello. Hi, thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate you being here. Andrew Nichols, always great to have you on one of these streams. Thanks so much for popping in. We're gonna have some fun tonight. The first thing I want to do is a couple of quick thank yous. The first person that I want to thank is my friend John Milkey, who not only did that opening theme song, which I love. The fact that people could be making babies to a Witty Whittier theme song is phenomenal. So thank you for that. And he also was very helpful in terms of creating these this layout that you see here. You can go and follow him at Blast the Radio. I suck at self promotion, but I want to make sure that I'm promoting other people apparently. So I want you to make sure that you go and you check him out. Blast the Radio is where you can find him on all of the major social networks. The Instagram, the X, which I still refer to as the Twitter because I'm old school, the YouTube. He's doing a lot of great things. He's won the Faces Award multiple times, and that's an Ottawa award, which is voted on by the people. And multiple times people have sung his praises, and I'll do that right now. The other person that I want to take a moment and send a shout out to is a gentleman by the name of TJ that I had the opportunity of meeting at TIFF last year. He goes by Cinema Tech, and again, you can go and check him out on X as well as on YouTube. This is a guy who does a lot of roasts of people's letterbox. He does a lot of has a lot of conversations in regards to film, and I really appreciate that. One of the things that I liked is I saw he did something very similar to what we're going to be doing tonight, where he was going through and picking his films. I'm sure there are other people that do it as well. I saw him doing it. I thought it was really cool. So I said, you know what, let's kind of take what he's done, remix it a little bit, and do our own thing. So a big shout out to TJ and Cinema Tech. All right, so let's get into it here. This is what we're going to be doing tonight. We are going to be going through the list of films for the Toronto International Film Festival. There's just under 300 of them. I will tell you, I don't think we're going to be clicking on 300 descriptions, just so you know. But we are going to go through the list of films that are available at this year's festival, and we're going to build it out. The reason that I wanted to do that was I have been going to TIFF for well over a decade, and a good part of that decade I've been going as accredited media. And every year I do a post on my social media, hey, I got accredited, and I put it out and I get congratulations and I get a lot of wonderful support, and then I kind of go off. But I don't really get into like, A, what does the accreditation mean? And B, what does the selection process of choosing these movies look like? So I wanted to do a stream where we had an opportunity to discuss that. So not to condescend at all. So if you don't know, I'm about to explain it to you. Accreditation basically means is that I get a nice little press pass. And with that press pass, I am able to go see any movie that's playing at the festival. It does not include a +1. It is just myself, and I have the opportunity of going and seeing all the movies that I'd like to go and see. On top of that, I get to go to the different press conferences. I will get multiple opportunities for interviews. I'll get different press access from that point of view. But also they give us 10 public tickets. I'm going to get into like the press screenings and the public tickets in just a moment. But then for myself, I'm also balancing the fact that I'm going to Toronto. I'm going to see friends that I don't have an opportunity to see very often. I want to go and see them. I don't want to just, I've been the guy who's done the 5-a-day movies and the 6-a-day movies. And then by the time you get to like the 6th or the 7th day, you're just hating life. So I'm looking for a good balance. So my mantra is I can't see everything. I can't see everything. And that's okay, because there's always going to be those movies that come out months later and you're like, wow, where did that come from? Oh, it was at TIFF, but it just might not have worked into the schedule. I will tell you I'm hoping tonight is going to be fun, but I also know that tonight's going to be a little frustrating for myself in the sense of when I go to scheduling these movies, and tonight's not going to be about scheduling as much as just selecting, but what those guys and gals at TIFF do is they will take movies and that they know people want to see, and they will schedule them at the same time. So it's basically like, make your choice. That old Saw reference. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun with that. I will say that as advertised, there will be prizes throughout the course of this stream. Um, don't know why that's on. Yeah, so we're throughout the course of this stream. So stay tuned for that. I'm very random; they could come at any time. And as people filter in, I know that a lot of times people just want to sit back. To win anything tonight, you will have to participate. Just letting you know that right now. So let me briefly explain the difference between the types of tickets, and then I'll show you the agenda. So there is the press ticket, the press and industry ticket. So this is a screening that would be for anybody like myself who's press, or people who are in industry, so people who run film festivals, like my good friend Ricky, or people who are interested in buying a film, people who are interested in promoting a film. That audience goes to a press screening. Now, the thing with a press screening is it's no frills. There's no actors, there's no director. You go in, you sit down, you watch a movie, and then you leave. There's no post discussion about the film at all. It's not uncommon to see people get up in the middle of a press screening and leave, because maybe people are thinking, okay, this movie is not for my audience, or this isn't a movie that I can get behind. That happens pretty frequently. So that's the press screening. The next screening that I'll talk about is the premium screening. Now, a ticket for a premium screening, which anybody can go to, ranges anywhere, I would say, from probably about $40 to $100. They say 95, let's just round up. Those are the screenings that you are pretty much guaranteed that the director and some of the cast, some of the crew will be there, like maybe the cinematographer, maybe the person who did the scoring, but definitely the director and the top actors. Movie that just popped into my mind because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Joker. So with Joker, you're definitely back in when that came out a couple of years ago. You had the director Todd Phillips, you had Joaquin Phoenix. They're at that premium screening. But here's the thing: the next day they have what's called the public screening. Chances are that the director and the star are still there, and they'll come out and they'll also come out and introduce the film. So if there's a star that you want to see, you don't necessarily always have to do the premium screening. Of course, you increase your odds, but it's not necessary per se. So the majority of screenings that I'll be seeing at TIFF will be the press and industry screenings, with several public screenings thrown in as well. So as I mentioned, I saw TJ, aka Cinematech, do this last year. I thought it was a lot of fun, but we are going to Whittierize this, and let me show you what the agenda is going to be today. So, NFL draft. No, we're not talking about football, but this inspires the number one pick. I am going to reveal the movie that I cannot wait to see. My number one most anticipated movie at this year's Toronto International Film Festival. Then, who is this on screen? You're going to say, hey, this is Jason Statham. And I'd say you're right. However, I'm looking at this as The Beekeeper, my guilty pleasure movie of 2024, by the way. This is The Beekeeper. What do bees do? That's right, they buzz. So we are going to be looking at the 10 buzzworthy movies at this year's festival. Yeah, cheesy. Let's just go with it. So we're going to be talking about movies that there's a lot of anticipation and excitement behind, but we're also going to be throwing in movies that I'm really excited about seeing. Okay, from there, I hope somebody other than Andrew Nichols has an appreciation for this. This is Chris Jericho. He is a wrestler. Of course, on top of covering movies, I cover WWE. And Chris Jericho is an interesting guy. And back in this era of his, he had something called the list, where if somebody was ticking him off, they made the list. So these are going to be 10 films, about 10 films that have to fit a very specific category. They have to fit specific categories and check off certain boxes. And if they do, they will indeed make the list. Then from there, we are going to jump into the others. These are just going to be about like 10, 15 other movies that I'm interested in checking out, and we will talk about them. So again, we've got the number one pick, which I'm going to announce in just a moment. Then we are going to get into the buzzworthy movies. We're going to do the list, and we'll talk about the criteria of that in just a moment. And then from there, we are going to we're gonna visit with the others. Okay, let me come back here and check out some comments. Cher is here. Hi, Cher. And Ricky is here. Woman is a legend, by the way. I think the hierarchy basically goes the CEO of TIFF and then Ricky. And if you've been around her, you know I'm right. Okay, Derek. That's me. 34 movies in 7 days is my current schedule. I love it. This is one of the things I love about this festival. Both Ricky and Derek are people that I met in different lines at TIFF. And sometimes you meet people, you have like a 2-second conversation, you go your own way, and then sometimes you meet them, and then you're just bonded, and I love that. What I like being a lurker. Not today. Share such a fun time of year for Keith. I'm sure it is for you as well. Keith is always excited to see you at this event. He is guilty as charged. These dad jokes. Oh, they're only going to get better. They are only going to get better. Okay. Ricky says, I think I know you're number one, and you probably do. Let us cue it up. Let me get official here. Hang on a second. You are on the clock. With my first choice of the made up 2024 TIFF selection draft, I, Keith of Witty Whittier, select the film that I want to see more than any other, the film that if something happened and I had to rush back home and miss the rest of the festival, the film where if Jessica Chastain herself said, Keith, I need you, please leave TIFF and come to me right away, I would say, hang on, Jesse, because in my mind I call her Jessie. Hang on, Jesse, I need to see this movie first. That film is Anora. Now, Anora, let's talk about this. Anora is the winner of this year's Palme d'Or award from the Cannes Film Festival, excuse me. So the top award at Cannes. So you're thinking to yourself, okay, maybe that's why Keith wants to see it. No. Okay, you're thinking, oh, okay, well, this is, a nice looking person. Maybe that's why Keith wants to see it. No. I want to see this movie that is coming out in October, by the way. I could wait a month to see it. I want to see it because of this wonderful human right here, Sean Baker. I am just completely into his films. He's been called one of the most humanist filmmakers working, and I absolutely love his movies. Started off with a film called Tangerine, which was made on an iPhone, critically acclaimed. Then he went into a film called The Florida Project, where the film was basically about looking at the lens of people who live just below the poverty line, who live just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the happiest place on earth. Then he went into a film called Red Rocket, which was about this retired porn star who went back to his hometown trying to fit in. This film, Anora, is about, I believe it's about a stripper who gets into a relationship with an oligarch. Now, I'm not exactly sure, in terms of like the train of thought, like if that the strippers aren't represented or the oligarchs aren't represented, because usually he's dealing with people, an audience of people that aren't represented, but here we are. So regardless of any of that, I absolutely love his films, to the point where I'm even thinking of getting a premium ticket just to be in the room and having the opportunity of seeing the Canadian premiere of it. I've already put in a request to interview him, so fingers crossed that will work out. But without a shadow of a doubt, the number one film that I'm excited about seeing at this film festival is Anora. So that is the first pick. Now, with that, we are going to come into the spreadsheet. Now, this is a very, very detailed situation that we've got here tonight, my friends. So the number one pick, and we can fill it in right now, Anora, and notes, Sean freaking Baker. Now, just to kind of go down, we're about to do the Buzz films, and then we're going to get into the You Made the List, and I guess I'll talk about that in just a moment. But yeah, I'm super excited about Anora. I've heard nothing but great things about it. I mean, the man you know, he's only a few movies deep into his career, but he does not make bad movies. So I'm excited. Okay. Ricky, who is a legend, you're gonna hear that name a lot. Just get used to it. She had the opportunity of seeing it at the Cannes Film Festival when it had its premiere, and has been raving about it a lot. Again, I've yet to come across anybody who wasn't excited about that film. I was supposed to go to Cannes this year. It's something that's on my bucket list. I've covered that film festival virtually, but not in person. Manchester City got in the way, but here's hoping we'll get to it next year. Okay, so now we're going to talk now about the buzz films. Now, these are films that are being heavily talked about, films that have already started to get some pre-Oscar buzz, but we're also going to be throwing in movies that are here that I'm interested in checking out. Now, if you want to follow along with me, and I encourage you to do so, all you need to do is go to tiff.net/films. Now, tiff.net/films, and you're going to see this ridiculous list. Like I said, 300 titles or so of films that we are going to go through. I'm going to tell you now several times. We're going to do a quick run through right now as we go through the 10 for the buzzworthy films, but then we're gonna have some fun with some of the other lists here. But so right now we're gonna do the buzzworthy ones, and I think some of these ones I already know that I want to see. So we are going to come all the way down, and we are going to start with Will and Harper. Now, Will and Harper is a new film, of course. They're all new films that stars Will Ferrell and his good friend Harper Steele, and from what I understand, it's a movie about Harper's transitioning. One of the reasons this film appeals to me is that it's at its core, and again, without seeing it, but in its description at its core, it's about friendship. It's about two people, two good friends going on a road trip, sharing stories, but also kind of looking at things and I guess how society deals, I guess, or feelings towards our trans community. So there's a lot of things about Will and Harper that appeal to me. I think it's a different type of film, and it's definitely one that I want to check out. So we are going to come to our buzz list, and these again there's no ranking here. Let's call it Friend Road Trip. That is simplifying it absolutely, but if I start getting into all actors' names, we're going to be here a while. It's something that really appeals to me. I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks really interesting. Now, I would encourage again everyone to kind of feel free, jump in the comments if there's a movie that you think I should be paying attention to, or that's on the radar you want to talk about. Let me know. I might already have it on my radar, but by all means, feel free. Okay. Again, we're going to go through this a couple of times. Okay, Conclave is one that seems to be getting some buzz. This is a new Ray Fiennes movie. And it also has Stanley Tucci, who I think is absolutely fantastic in pretty much everything he does. So we are going to go ahead and add Conclave onto this list. Okay. One of the things I've learned with the TIFF site is that as I hit back, it usually takes me back to the beginning. Now, Let us see what else we've got here. Okay, Eden, a new film by Ron Howard, and the cast of this is pretty awesome. We've got Sydney Sweeney, Anna de Armas, Vanessa Kirby. Like that's I mean, well, Sydney Sweeney, I don't know if she's proved herself as yet, but Anna de Armas and Vanessa Kirby, that's a murderer's row, and Jude Law and Daniel Bruhl. I don't know if Ron Howard has gone to TIFF before. I think he has. Um, but of course, the big award at the Toronto International Film Festival is the People's Choice Award. Now, Ron Howard, I was has as good a chance as anybody else to at winning that. So we're gonna go in and throw in Eden. And we're back. Okay, let's take a look here. Oh, almost missed. Where is that? Hang on. That's what I said. Sometimes when I go back, it takes me all the way to the top. Okay, Amelia Perez. A lot of buzz around this movie. This is a film that stars Zoe Saldana, Selena Gomez, Edgar Ramirez, and whoops. It doesn't just feature performances, by the way, my friends. It features fearless performances. The latest from director Jacques Audiard, who did The Sisters Brothers, which was pretty decent. Audaciously emerges pop opera, narco thriller, and gender affirmation drama. Let's go. So, yeah, Amelia Perez. Okay. All right, let's see what else we've got here. If you were just joining, we are right now in the process of picking the 10 buzzworthy films for this festival. And this festival being the Toronto International Film Festival. Thank you for stopping by. So this is an exercise right now where there are a lot of these movies that I'm familiar with. Some of them I'm not. So before we start getting into descriptions and what have you, I'm looking at, okay, what are the movies that I know that I'm really interested in seeing? This is an interesting one right here. They've been showing the trailers for this for the last little while. This is a movie that stars Hugh Jackman. And one of the big attractions for me for this film is that it comes from the studio A24, which does the Sean Baker movies. It did my favorite film of last year, The Zone of Interest. It seems to be like this studio that's just absolutely on fire. What I get from the trailer is a couple of girls are going door to door. They come across this guy's house, played by Hugh. I think I might have said Hugh Jackman, and if I did, I apologize. Hugh Grant. And then basically they're stuck in his house and they're trying to find their way out of it. So I can't say that this is like a buzzworthy movie in terms of everyone's been talking about it. For myself, I look at the trailer and it looks pretty interesting. So I definitely want to make sure that I make time for it. Again, this is a movie that is going to theaters. In terms of it already has a release date, so I could wait, but I'm very interested in seeing it. What I will say is that when I say this is a movie that's going to theaters, you're thinking, well, Keith, that's usually where they go, that or like a streaming service. There are a lot of movies that are going to be shown at TIFF that will never be seen again, just because sometimes films don't get distribution. Sometimes films are going to TIFF looking for distribution and they don't get it right away. So this, of course, is not one of those films with Heretic, but it's still a movie that I'm interested in. I'm a big A24 fanboy. Okay, we were at the H's. One of the things TIFF does is they have these in conversation pieces where it's basically a one-on-one, usually with somebody big up, high up at the festival, where they'll sit down and they'll do an interview. And you'll see here there's several in conversations. We've got Kate Blanchett, a couple of South Korean actors, Hyun Bin and Lee Dong-wook, Steven Soderbergh, who's got a movie at TIFF, and of course Zoe Saldana. Quite frankly, everybody who you have an in conversation with will be at the festival. I tend not to do the in conversations simply because it'll be on the TIFF YouTube channel in a couple of weeks after they have the discussion. I'm not saying not to go to them, but just in terms of when I look at it from a time perspective, and maybe I'm being a little hypocritical. Maybe if it was somebody I'd be more interested in hearing, and I'd have the opportunity of making the time for, I might feel a little differently. So for this year, there's no, I haven't gone to an in conversation in any of my years going to TIFF. I'll put it to that way. Funny story. There's this young lady you might have heard of. Her name's Taylor Swift. Anyways, a few years ago, she had an in conversation at TIFF. Now you have to understand the tickets for the in conversations at the time were like $30. People were reselling it for $3,000 for the opportunity of just going and listening to her have an interview with the CEO of TIFF. It's a thing. So that being said, with all due respect to these attendees this year, I don't know that they'll be scalped at that amount, but if you're interested in hearing from them, they will be available. Let's take a look here. I'm getting behind. Okay, hang on a second. I think that was part of another conversation I might have missed. Keith into house. Yes, he is into house. Andrea, thanks so much for coming. Amelia Perez is really good. Very, very excited about that. Who knew that Zoe Saldana could sing and dance? People say the same thing about me. No, they don't. They really don't. I remember that Taylor Swift event. Yeah, it was ridiculous. You know who else remembers it? The Toronto Police, because I'm sure it gave them a hard time. Does Jeremy Allen White have an in conversation event? He does not. Jeremy Allen White, of course, from Shameless and The Bear, and last year's very bizarre film, Fingernails, to my knowledge, will not be at the film festival this year. He could be putting his fingernails back. This isn't on my list. K-Pop's Anderson .Paak. I guess it's a movie about kind of centered around like the whole Korean pop sensation. If BTS was involved in this movie, I'd go to it, but they're not. So we're gonna skip it. One of the things you'll see here, so for example, Micro Session, on top of the film festival, there's also an industry conference. So a lot of those events are also here. So we're just going to bypass those. But if you're wondering like what the Micro Session is, that's what's going on there. This was a movie. Let's click on this one. Megalopolis. This is a movie that I was somewhat interested in when I saw the trailer. I've yet to meet anybody who says go see it. And considering that it comes out in September, I will hold off. I think it was a late addition to the festival. Of course, directed by the same gentleman who was behind this little movie called The Godfather series. Again, sometimes I'll use good judgment. I'll say, you know what, Keith, this comes out in a couple of weeks. You can see it then, or a couple of weeks after the festival. Then there's some movies that I'll jump on. Megalopolis is going to be one that I am going to politely declining and moving past. Okay. This is I say this, and then there's several movies on the screen. I apologize. This is a movie that I'm interested in seeing, Millers in Marriage. For one reason, it is directed by Edward Burns. I'm a big Edward Burns fan. From movies like The Sidewalks of New York, The Brothers McMullen, but also some of his acting. There is a movie of his, I call it my chicken meal movie, because for a while on the weekends, I would come home from work and I would get like a nice little chicken meal from the grocery store, from their hotcake section. I'd come home and I'd watch this movie called Confidence that he starred in along with Dustin Hoffman, Paul Giamatti. Just a very entertaining film. I'm not saying it's an outstanding, great film, but it's an easily rewatchable film because it's very, very entertaining. All that being said, I can't remember the last time Edward Burns was at TIFF. So the opportunity of seeing one of his films at the festival, we are going to jump on right away. So we're going to be adding that on to the buzz list. For those of you who are wondering, Jessica Chastain has no movies to my knowledge at this year's festival, and I'm going to be okay. Millers and Marriage, that means we were in the letter M. So let's go back there. All right. Okay. 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 Well, you know what? We'll talk about Night Bitch in a moment. Nutcrackers. So here's where I'm conflicted. This is the opening night film of the festival, and you kind of want to see the opening night film, but there's a lot of things that make this movie interesting. First of all, it's directed by David Gordon Green, the same guy who was behind all those recent Halloween movies. You've got Ben Stiller and Linda Cardellini. And I've always loved Linda Cardellini from Freaks and Geeks. I think she's a fantastic actor. And this is an interesting one. We've got Ben Stiller basically playing an uncle, and then he has to take over be responsible for his nephews after a tragedy. So I'm interested to see this. I think, again, is there a lot of buzz around this? Well, it is the opening night film, so there's that level of buzz to it. Award buzz, not as much, but I'm still interested in checking this out. That being said, does it make my 10 buzziest movies? Let's hold on to it. Where was it? Was it just Nutcrackers, or was it? Hang on. It was just, I was looking for the Nutcrackers, and that was in the T's. Okay. Let's hold on to it because we still have how many slots do we have left? Okay, we have 4 slots left. I'm not necessarily saying that the Nutcrackers is going to take that one of those slots, but we're going to parking lot that one. Okay. So N, I know my ABDs. All right. On Becoming a Guinea Fowl, I've not heard anything good about this movie, but it's tied to A24. But that being said, might have to step away from that one. Definitely not going to be on the Big Ten. Roland, good to have you here, my friend. I saw Burns in an interview, and he wasn't his regular self. After that, I stopped liking him. Like, in terms of he was rude to the interviewer, or so I'm not sure what you mean there. I will tell you, TIFF is something. Of course, my adoration for Jessica Chastain is well documented, but there are also celebrities that you come across that are just not friendly, that are not just nice, and then it very much changes your perspective. So I definitely get that. So I'm interested to know what happened in the Ed Burns situation. Okay. So yeah, on Becoming a Guinea Fowl. And who doesn't want to become a guinea fowl? We're going to skip over perspectives. All of this that you see right here, again, that is for the industry conference. Okay, here's the funny thing. You'll notice here, there's a Canadian flag. It doesn't get more Canadian than Paul Anka. How is this not a Canadian movie? All right, we move. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. We got to jump back up here. Okay, Flow. Flow is a movie that is getting a ton of buzz. So I missed that earlier. So that is going to go onto our buzz list. All right. And what is Flow about, you're asking? A motley but irresistible crew of animals band together for an unforgettable adventure in the watery world created by animator and filmmaker Gintz. I could go after his last name, but when you know him as well as I do, it's just Gintz. In case you're wondering, why does Keith keep looking up? Just to kind of show you what I'm looking at right here. I've got my main screen, and then I've got the cameras right here, and then I've got my screen up here that has all of the descriptions. So if you're wondering, like, is Keith going crazy? I am, but for other reasons. But yeah, that's what's happening. Okay. back to it. All right. We now need to find 3 more for the buzz section. Okay. And I know we were down by the N's, S's, spotlight. Okay, here we go. Piece by piece. Again, not on the list as of yet. This is basically a documentary of the life of Pharrell Williams, but told through Lego pieces. So it's getting talked about. So, I hate that it keeps jumping me back up and back down we come. I apologize if I'm making anybody dizzy through doing this. All right. Okay. Queer, definitely on the must list. This is from Luca Guadagnino. I'm doing Duolingo Italian. I should be better at that name. Fantastic filmmaker. This was a late addition to the festival. Definitely interested in checking this out. We're going to throw this on. Luca. Okay. Yeah, he's done a lot of great things like Call Me by Your Name. And very much interested in great English, Keith. Very much interested. I am, though, very much interested in checking out this film. So this is a movie that I know is extremely popular, and it's definitely one where I'm very happy that I have credentials, because I will camp out for the press screening, because I can see tickets for this selling out very, very quickly. Presence is the new Steven Soderbergh movie. I'm not sure that I'm super interested in it. If my friend Tracy was here, she would be screaming, "Oh my God, go see the Bruce Springsteen movie." She's not here, so we'll move on. Saturday Night was another late addition. This is kind of like a behind the scenes look at Saturday Night Live. I've been hearing a lot of nice things about that movie, so we're going to go ahead. Actually, you know what? They do all caps, so we're going to do all caps. So we're going to go ahead and put that on the list. And we need one more. Now, just so, again, we're clear, we're not done after one movie. We're just getting started. This next movie is just in terms of like the films that are getting a lot of buzz, or films that I'm really excited about seeing. I think I jumped too far. I did. Okay. All right, there we go. Saturday Night. Okay. Again, all this stuff, this spotlight stuff, is all industry conference. The shortcut program, I'm not stopping here right now. I always like to get to see one of these iterations, and it's just a collection of short films. So I'm interested in seeing that. Okay, we got some context. He was rude, standoffish. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. We don't like that. Miller's in Marriage looks good. It does look good. Flow is really good. Be aware there is no dialogue, but you won't miss it. Okay. Flow is really about adversaries. Oh my gosh. Adversaries. Happy anniversary. It's about I'm going to be okay. It's about adversaries coming together. Keith, good to meet you. All right. Wow. People like, take some coffee. I don't, and I will not. Anyway, shortcuts. The shortcut iterations are definitely worth checking out. Okay. Okay, here's one that I'm interested in: The Assessment. Set in the future, first of all, we got Alicia Vikander and Elizabeth Olsen, two phenomenal actors. Set in a future world destroyed by climate change, a couple must pass an assessment before they are allowed to have a child in this sci-fi thriller. So the assessment is definitely one that I am interested in. So we are going to go ahead and put that on the list. Hey, that's it. That's our 10. Wow. Okay. I thought we might have had room for another, but no, that's our 10. Okay. All right. Well, listen, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. So yeah, that is our 10. So the 10 buzzworthy movies: Will and Harper, Conclave, Eden, Amelia Perez, Heretic, Miller's in Marriage, Flow, Queer, Saturday Night, and The Assessment. Okay. If you are a wrestling fan, yeah, I said it. If you're a wrestling fan, throw a thumbs up in the chat. I need to see where my wrestling people are right now. And as we do that, we're going to come back here to the main list. I just want to finish out this. All right, Roland, thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. You're gonna appreciate what's coming next. Will you finally post ratings for each movie you see? Harsh coming at me, but I need that. And yes, I will. Does my dad count? He most certainly does. Okay. All right. We are going into another section here in just a moment called You Just Made the List. Now, for those of you who don't watch wrestling, and by the looks of it, that's going to be, several of you, we are going to be channeling our Chris Jericho in terms of You Just Made the List. Now, these are going to be films that have to meet a certain criteria before they are selected. Of these next 10 movies that we are going to go through, 5 of them must be directed by a woman. 3 of them must be Canadian. 4 of them must be international. 3 of them must have a Black director or Black themed. And what do I mean by that? So, for example, the original The Color Purple movie was definitely Black themed, directed by Steven Spielberg. It would make the list. Next up, we've got 2 of the films. Oh, sorry, excuse me. One of the films has to be a Midnight Madness movie that I see at midnight. Just to take a minute on that, the Midnight Madness movies are ridiculous. The crowds that come out at a Midnight Madness movie are fantastic. We're talking cheering, we're talking enthusiasm. It's unlike anything we get to see anymore, and that's why I definitely need to be immersed in that atmosphere at least once. I remember when Star Wars Attack of the Clones came out. Not necessarily my favorite Star Wars movie, but I remember the moment where Anakin Skywalker's down, Obi-Wan Kenobi's down, and then you hear the footsteps and you see the shadow and you see Yoda coming in to fight, and the theater went ridiculous, completely unglued. This was a midnight screening. I saw that movie a couple times in theaters, but the only time people went absolutely crazy was the midnight screening. People are showing up in their Chewbacca costumes. Where do you even get a Chewbacca costume? If you know, let me know, asking for a friend. But anyways, people showed up in their Chewbacca costumes just going absolutely crazy. And I loved it. I love the enthusiasm. That is the type of enthusiasm you get for every single one of the 10 movies that will be showing in the Midnight Madness program. So that's definitely an atmosphere that I want to be a part of. So all that to say, one movie in this list has to be a Midnight Madness movie at midnight, because you can see it at other times. 2 of the films that I am going to put in this list have to be in the TIFF TIFF Tribute Award recipients. And then I want to make sure that we have one that is representative of the LGBTQ community. So that is what we are going to be doing now. we are going to be switching over to You Just Made the List. So for those people who are familiar with the way Chris Jericho did it, he would do something like, I'll do it to myself. Hey, you there, Keith Whittier, with that Witty Whittier sign behind you. Who do you think you are? You think you can come out here and talk about movies? You and your shiny head. You know what we do with people with cool shiny heads? You just made the list. We're about to do that for 10 films, so buckle up. All right, so the first thing I think we're going to do is we are going to go and take a look at, we are going to filter this. The TIFF filter list is not great, respectfully, because a lot of these movies, so for example, when I said Canadian, only 2 movies come up, and one of them isn't Canadian. So when we get to the Canadian, we might do a little digging. But first, we're going to check out films that are directed by a woman. And I skimmed over this earlier. We're coming right back to it. It is going to check off a lot of boxes, and that is Night Bitch. Night Bitch is the new movie from director Mariel Heller. It stars Amy Adams. And let's do this official. Hey, Amy Adams, look at you with all your Academy Award nominations. And on top of that, you're about to get a TIFF Tribute Award. You got this new movie directed by Mariel Heller. You know what we do for people who've got multiple Academy Award nominations, who are in a new movie, and who are also getting a TIFF Tribute Award? You just made the list. I told you it was going to be different than any other show you saw, folks. I didn't lie. Night Bitch is an interesting title. And think about it. I'm going to be at the festival and someone's going to come up to me and say, hey, what movie are you seeing next? And my response will be Night Bitch. I'll just channel my inner Jesse Pinkman. Last year, there was a movie. Last year, there was a movie called I Don't Know Who You Are. And it was a beautiful, beautiful Canadian film. But I remember speaking to the publicist of the film, and somebody went up to her and said, hey, you know, what movie are you promoting? And she's like, I don't know who you are. And the person just kind of like walked away. There are a couple of times movie titles come out that are a little different, but anywho, here we are. Night Bitch. All right, here we go. So Night Bitch, it checks off a couple of these boxes. Number one, it is directed by a woman. It is a TIFF Tribute Award winner. And let us, okay, so and what is it about? Let's, oh, I apologize. Here I was thinking I was sharing my screen only to find out that I am not, and I'm going on talking about Night Bitch. Okay. All right, there we go. I apologize. An overworked stay-at-home mom, played by the aforementioned Amy Adams, tries to catch a break, any break, while caring for her rambunctious toddler. I got rambunctious, but not adversary. Anyways, also, she might be turning into a woof woof. Oh, she might be turning into a woof woof. Okay. All right, so we're going to throw that in there. All right, so we got Night Bitch. Okay. Let us go back. And we are still, yeah, our filter is still on. Okay, so a lot of buzz about this one, and I believe this won. I believe this won an award at Cannes. I keep saying Cannes. Hang on. Bear with me. Bear with me. In the meantime, Omid checking in from Hollywood, Mr. Whittier. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate that. Should be like, oh, you're in Hollywood. Do you know Ricky? Why do I think this has won awards? Accolades. Yes. It won. Oh, yes, of course. It won the Grand Prix award at the Cannes Film Festival. I got to make sure I say Cannes and not Con. I'm getting better. Okay, here we go. Hey. Wait. Hey there, all we imagine is light. I see you with your Cannes Award for Grand Prix. You know what we do with movies that do extremely well at Cannes and then come to Toronto? Yeah, you just made the list. All right, here we go. All we imagine is light. Directed by a woman. It is international. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting one. Um, Addition. So I took a look at the trailer for this movie starring Teresa Palmer coming to us from Australia. By the way, how wonderful is it to get a movie that's coming to us from Australia that's not a horror? In this movie, we have a mathematician struggles to balance her compulsive counting habit and imaginary friendship with Nikolai Tesla, with a budding romance in this charming adaptation. Okay, so I looked at the trailer for this. It looks very cute, very sweet. And again, I'm a little shocked that we're getting a film from Australia that's not a horror film, because that seems to be what we've been getting a lot of lately. But here we are. So, hey, Addition with Teresa Palmer. You know what we do to those films from Australia that think they can be cool and not be a horror movie? You just made the list. I swear to God, if you watch wrestling, I'm killing right now. All right. Directed by a woman, international. Okay. Curious if Without Blood makes the list. Well, we're going to see. We're going to take a look, because Without Blood is not a movie that jumps out to me, but we'll go back and we'll take a look at it for sure. This movie is 100% making the list. Bonjour, Tristesse. And I will not say that again. This movie's making the list because of this person right here, Lily McInerney. She was in a movie a couple of years ago. It was my favorite movie the year that it came out, called Palm Trees and Power Lines. A very powerful film, but also a very difficult film to watch. And she was fantastic in it. And that was her debut role. So this is a Canadian film. I have no idea. What it's about. It's coming of age. Sure. I don't want to know too much about it. Sometimes I just want to go into these blind, but this movie also checks off a few boxes. It's Canadian. The director is winning a TIFF Tribute Award. So, hey, Dunga Chu Bose, you know what we do to directors who make what appear to be awesome Canadian films, who have the good sense to cast Lily McInerney in the lead role? You know what we do with those people? You just made the list. So we are going to go ahead and we are definitely putting that movie, whose title I butchered, here. So we got directed by a woman, we got Canadian, we got TIFF Tribute Award winner. All right, we're cooking. All right, back to the movies. Let's take a look and see what's next here. This one I'm torn on. Let me get some chatter on this one. Okay, number one. Okay, first of all, it's called Baby Girl. Nicole Kidman is captivating as a high-powered executive who risks everything when she starts a sexual relationship with an intern, the guy from Triangle of Sadness. It is thrilling erotic drama from the director Helena, the lady, who did Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Here's where I'm torn. I kind of feel like I just saw a version of that movie on Amazon, on Prime Video, where she was with Zac Efron. I'm also torn because on the other side, it is directed. Sorry, it is being distributed by A24, a studio we really like. So I'm not sure if this is a movie that should be making the list. Does this movie look at all interesting? So there it is, Baby Girl. Take a look at the description while I take a sip of this, and feel free to throw in the comments because I want feedback on this. Is this a movie that you're interested in hearing about? In case you're wondering, Crystal Light with my water. It's delicious. So I'm really torn on whether or not this is something that I want to see. Ricky's passing on this one. Yeah, let me take a look and see what the release date is on this one, because this might be one to kind of put like on a maybe pile. Okay, so this is coming out. This is getting a Christmas release. That's interesting. Normally the Christmas releases are in time, like it's in time for like the Oscars. Like there's usually like a big push for like a Christmas release. A lot of movies that, I shouldn't say a lot, but there are movies that usually get released on Christmas that get nominated. I'm just checking to see if Nicole's in the conversation because I don't think that she is. I'm just taking a quick look at a site. Yeah, she's not really in the conversation. Okay, Baby Girl's on the maybe list. So we're gonna hold off on Baby Girl. Did I lose my filter? No. Okay. Oh, here we go. The Substance. Okay. This is directed by Coralie Farge. I had the opportunity of meeting her and interviewing her after her last, I believe, her last time at TIFF, which is for a movie called Revenge. She was in Midnight Madness then. She's back in Midnight Madness this time with Demi Moore. Demi Moore portrays a fading Hollywood star feuding with the manifestation of her younger self, played by Margaret Qualley, in this award-winning body horror satire from Coralie. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and green light this. Get my arm ready. Hey, Coralie Forget. You know what we do for people who come back to Midnight Madness and bring Demi Moore with them in a movie that everybody's talking about, in a movie that you're going to get me to stay up until midnight for? You know what we do with those people, Coralie? You just made the list. A lot of buzz around The Substance. Very interested in checking out this film. So it is. Oh, hang on. Is it an international film? Yeah, United Kingdom, France. 2 out of 3. We carry the board. All right. It's international, and it is a Midnight Madness movie at midnight. All right. Okay. Next, we are going to move towards, whoops, we're going to move back, and then we're going to move towards our Black themed films. Now, a Black directed or Black themed films. All right. So first of all, this is a movie that looks very interesting to me, 40 Acres. And a post-apocalyptic, again, apocalyptic, not adversaries. Let's move. In a post-apocalyptic future where food is scarce, the last descendants of a Black family of farmers who settled in Canada after the American Civil War must protect their homestead from an organized militia hell-bent on taking their land. I love supporting Canadian film, what better place to do it than at the Toronto Film Festival? This movie looks very interesting to me. So yeah, let's definitely check this out. Hey, 40 Acres, which I'm pretty sure is a play on what or Spike Lee's play on the 40 Acres and a Mule. You know what we do for movies that look really interesting, that have Daniel Deadweiler in them? Movies that may look small and not be on a lot of people's list, but caught my radar. You know what we do with those movies? You just made the list. So 40 Acres is going to be on the list. Very interested in seeing this film. It seems to be one of the few movies that's playing at TIFF that isn't like at least 2 hours. So and it's Canadian, so definitely going to check that out. Okay. Yeah, definitely interested in 40 Acres. 40 Acres, again, I don't know of a release date for that movie, so definitely want to have the opportunity. Okay, let's jump ahead to this one. The Piano Lesson. I have said that Denzel Washington is my unofficial twin brother. If you've seen us, then you know that's true. And that would make his son Malcolm my nephew, I guess. Anyway, his son Malcolm, his directorial debut with this adaptation of the Pulitzer Prize winning August Wilson play, featuring an incredible cast that includes, again, Daniel Deadweiler, John David Washington, and Samuel L. Jackson, who is getting a lot of Oscar buzz, about a family haunted by the legacy of an heirloom. So yeah, this movie looks very interesting to me. It is it's and I don't know, will we get a Denzel Washington sighting? Let me do my shtick and then we'll talk about Denzel at TIFF. Hey, Malcolm Washington, son of Denzel, brother of John David. You know what we do for people who have their directorial debuts at TIFF? You know what we do for people whose father are my unofficial twin brothers and they come to TIFF with a movie? You know what we do with those people? You just made the list. All right, The Piano Lesson. Okay. One of the questions that I get from time to time is in terms of like, who are some of the big celebrities that you've seen at TIFF and that. I will tell you, obviously there's been tons of people that have gone through TIFF, but the most secure celebrity that I've ever seen at the Toronto Film Festival was Denzel Washington. It was for a movie called Roman J. Israel Esquire. It was a very late addition to the festival. It was playing at the Ryerson Theater, which is Ryerson University, for those of you who don't know. And just to kind of put it in perspective, 70% of the movies that you'll go to at TIFF, you'll just like walk in, maybe a nice little bag check. 25% of the movies, actually, let's take it up a lot. 29% of the movies that you'll go to, they'll do a little more, detailed search of what you're carrying into the theater. Make sure you're not carrying in like recording equipment, not carrying in food, and that sort of thing. But then there is the Denzel Washington 1%. And what I mean by that is I am talking full-on search, like everything from your bag taken out and examined, bomb-sniffing dogs at the theater. They brought him in. He did a Q&A, and the Q&A, unfortunately, was just with him and the person from TIFF. He didn't take any questions from the audience. And after he left, nobody could leave the theater for 10 minutes. I make none of that up. It was one of those things that just kind of lets you know that there's celebrities and then there are icons. And it was very interesting being in that room with him. The movie was great, as most of his movies are, but yeah, in terms of remembering that. So I'm very interested to see if he's coming back. I suppose he's got his own mini Secret Service, and well deserved. The man, again, I can't say anything disparaging about him. I love Denzel Washington, and I'm very interested to see how well his son does with this film. Okay. All right. Adam Kidman going back to Baby Girl. Absolutely. Did not see this, but friends did and say it's really out there, but enjoyed it. I need to be on top of these comments because now I'm wondering. I think that's in reference to the substance. I'm 99% sure that's in reference to the substance. Um, art imitating life. That's definitely in regards to the substance. Black theme, the piano lesson, and hard truths. Yeah, we're gonna get there. All we imagine as light, amazing, good choice. Patrick coming in. Um, Patrick, let me tell you this right now in front of all these wonderful people. I sincerely hope that you. Okay, first of all, I believe you still live in Ottawa. So the fact that I'm about to say this statement out loud is ridiculous. Even though I do not see you in Ottawa for whatever reason, I am sincerely hoping because you said you're in Toronto for the first weekend of TIFF, and assuming that you still live in Ottawa, we need to fix that. But that being said, I hope we can get together during that first weekend of TIFF, whether it's to see a movie or to catch up. So definitely hope I do. I do. Yeah. Okay, so let's make a plan. You kind of see the movies I'm going to be seeing, so let's see if we can align and figure this out. Okay. Okay. Now hang on. We have right now under black themed 2. Okay. And again, we're not taking a look at anything that we would have looked at in the first part. We're looking exclusively here. Hard Truths, directed by Mike Lee. From what I understand, don't quote me on this, Mike Lee had Ricky over the other day and said, hey, I want to hear what you think about my new movie, as a lot of great directors would. Let's take a look at this. In his 23rd film, why not 25th, Mike? Stop slacking. In his 23rd film, British director Mike Lee reunites with Marianne Jean-Baptiste to create a challenging but ultimately compassionate look at modern family life. This was on my radar. I am interested in this. We're going to go ahead and, well, hang on. Hey, Mike Lee. Mike Lee, you know what we do for directors who haven't gotten to 25 films yet, who are still only at their 23rd film, but who do have the good sense to cast Marianne Jean-Baptiste in their movies? You know what we do with people like them? You just made the list. All right, Hard Truths is coming in. And it is international, I believe. Yeah, United Kingdom and Spain. That would count. And we got black themed. The piano lesson, I'm 99% sure that is, oh, yeah, US. Okay, I just saw another movie. Okay, let me take a look at our count. Let's see where we are right now. Okay, we're at 9 movies. Sorry, 8 movies. That is okay. Okay, so that's done. Hard truths. Okay, so let me just clean this up a little bit. We've got our midnight movie. We got our TIFF tribute movie. Piano lesson is with Netflix. I had to take a break. Where are we now? Oh, sorry. This would help. Absolutely. Patrick is saying in public he wants to get together. I'm looking forward to it. The last time, oh my God, don't tell me that. No. We saw each other since Sundance. It's been a while, though. It's been too long. So Patrick and I are going to get together. We're going to take awesome selfies. We're going to post them. It's going to be reunited, and it'll feel so good. I had to take a break. Where are we now? Well, I'm still in my office. I'm not sure where you are, but we are still going through the making the list portion. Piano lesson is with Netflix. Okay. All right. We have our black director, black themed. We have our 4 international. We have 2 Canadian. Okay, so I need another Canadian movie, and I need a movie that's representing the LGBTQ community. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so first of all, let's come off of this for a moment. We have Queer, and I knew that Queer was going to go into my buzz list. And we also have Will and Harper. So for the first time tonight, we're going to start exploring into some of these descriptions. And okay, let's take a look at this one. Love in the Big City. Let's take a look here. No one believes roommates are just friends, but they're used to being misunderstood. They star in this romance exploring how young adults live and love in the big city of Seoul. Okay. It's directed by a woman as well. I have to tell you, I don't know what it is about Korean pop culture. And no, I'm not just talking about BTS. I am obsessed with Squid Game. Don't even try to get a hold of me on Boxing Day. Not that you were gonna, but it is just going to be watching Squid Game season 2, probably a couple of times. And then Parasite. Just there's a poster of Parasite hanging in the other room. I absolutely love that movie. So, Love in the Big City. All right, let's bookmark that. If you guys are following along, if there's a movie that fits this this criteria of the LGBTQ community, let me know. That one definitely looks interesting. Okay, let's see what this one is. Went Up the Hill. Deliver haunting performances in Samuel Van Griffen's atmospheric ghost story that explores the legacy of loss and dark family secrets. Okay, the programmer is Jason Riley. I'm not familiar with him. This is, by the way, this is how you know I'm a TIFF nerd. Okay, number one, because I'm telling you, and most people don't walk up to you and say, "Hi, TIFF nerd, nice to meet you." But I also sometimes, when I'm on the fence, I'm looking at who programmed it, because there are certain programmers that I really like. And if I know a certain programmer has been involved with the movie, that can increase my chances of wanting to see it. Daughter's Daughter. This emotionally faceted, masterfully assembled second feature stars legend Sylvia Chang as a woman forced to decide the fate of her recently deceased daughter's embryo. Okay. Do I know you from somewhere? Let's take a look at this one. Oops, went too far. A committed couple finds their life slipping away, not because they've done anything wrong in particular, but because history is unwriting itself, sort of. Okay. So this is Canadian. And it's also, okay. And it's also LGBTQ. Okay. Okay. That looks interesting. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when crowds are gray. Okay, let's see what this one is. A rising star in Japanese cinema, this beautifully crafted film follows adolescent figure skaters as they navigate budding emotions. It evokes the nuanced storytelling of master director. Okay. Love in the Big City looks really interesting to me. I'm not going to lie. But I will also say Daughter's Daughter also looks. Was it Daughter's Daughter? No, hang on. It just had the Canadian flag. Where did it go? Was it Do I Know You From? Oh, it was Do I Know You From Somewhere? Yeah, Do I Know You From Somewhere also looks interesting. Okay. Hang on. Back into the comments. We're getting together too. Absolutely. Absolutely, we are. It's going to be a whole big old reunion. Not Canadian, but Will and Harper is great. I do have Will and Harper on my buzz list, so I've already put that one down. My Sunshine is a sweet film. However, check The Mother and the Bear. Hang on. Let me tell you something. When Ricky's like, check this out, you check it out. The Mother and the Bear. Okay, here we go. I kind of feel like that was on the last page. No, it wasn't. Okay, here we go. When her grown daughter Sumi has a bad fall in Winnipeg, anxious widow Sarah travels to Korea to be with her and discovers she doesn't know Sumi at all. Okay. Okay. Okay, The Mother and the Bear. Lot of interesting Canadian films. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, my son. Where did my sunshine go? What? That was the figure skater one. Okay. Do I know you from somewhere? Okay, I am going to jump down here and put do I know you from somewhere? And I'll tell you why in just a second. Actually, I might be bringing it right back. Hang on. Where did it go? Am I losing it here? There was a... Oh, my God, right in front of me. Love in the Big City. Okay. This one looks very interesting to me. All right. This one I'm going to put down. All right. Hey, Jae Hee and Hyung Soo. People say that they don't believe that you two are friends. I don't know if you're friends either. But you know what happens to two people who are running around town in the amazing town of Korea, home to the greatest boy band of our time right now, BTS? You know what we do for those people who we don't know if they're just friends? You two just made the list. So we are going to see Love in the Big City. And let's scroll back up here. Let's put that down. Now, the reason why, just to let you know, I moved Do I Know You from Somewhere down to maybe is because it's 80 minutes long. It's a Canadian film. I'm confident that I can reach out to the publicist of the film. Confident/hopeful that I can reach out to the publicist of the film and get a screener link for it and see it before the festival. Because as much as it looks like a very good movie, it might be one that I try to see through the channel of getting a screener to see it and hopefully seeing it even before I get to Toronto. All right, we need one Canadian movie. This is where the TIFF website gives me fits. Because when I come here and I select Canadian, I can assure you there's a lot more than one Canadian movie that is showing at the Toronto International Film Festival. So we're going to go hunting. There is one movie or series that's there that I thought about checking out that will probably also make the maybe pile, which is the Tragically Hip No Dress Rehearsal. What can be more Canadian than seeing a tragically hip documentary at the Toronto International Film Festival. Here's the challenge right there, 4 hours. So that's a bit of a time suck. A lot of times these series that they play at festivals, they might show you an episode or two. They're doing the whole thing. So I'm not saying no. So I'm also going to throw the Tragically Hip into the maybe pile. Would love to see it at the festival, but it's a bit of a long one. All right. Speaking of security, I imagine security for the Elton John doc will be off the charts. Yeah. So we haven't talked about this. We've got Bruce Springsteen, who looks like he's going to be at TIFF this year. We've got for a movie that he's in. We've got Elton John. For those familiar with Robbie Williams, because I know Robbie Williams seemed to be more popular in the UK and Europe than here in North America. I'm expecting there could be a Robbie Williams sighting. Okay. I admittedly have never seen The Sweet Hereafter. I've seen a lot of Adam Agoyan's films. I think it would be great to see it, but here's the thing. I can see this movie anytime on digital. So on the one hand, it would be great to see it at TIFF. And for the third time, we are going down to the maybe pile. Yeah. I'm not saying no, I'm just not committing to the yes. Okay. Okay. We're basically right now we're going to go looking for Canadian flags and movies that I might have heard of that might be good and worth checking out. So why do I no? Was it no? Okay. I have it on good authority to skip the Shrouds. So I'm going to respect the good authority. And you know what? I'm going to skip the Shrouds. Okay. The Mother and the Bear. That could be our film. Just going to take a look and I feel like there was another Canadian movie that was on my radar. But I also live by the philosophy of In Ricky We Trust. Shook, what are you? Who are you, Shook? What's going on here, Shook? Struggling writer Ashish is thrown for several hoops when he falls for barista Claire, those baristas, and learns his estranged father has just been diagnosed with Parkinson's. Excuse me. Sounds heavy. It looks interesting. Sounds interesting. All right. Okay. I could see Shook getting on. Oh, Sharp Corner. That's the movie. Okay. All right. Listen to this one here. After a car crashes into his front yard, a family man develops an unhealthy obsession with being ready for the next accident and the next. I can somehow relate in some ways to that. Okay. Yeah. All right, Ricky, can you tell me, is the Mother and the Bear? So I'm going to put Sharp Corner in as my last Canadian film, but do you still think I should go see The Mother and the Bear? I thought Substance looked interesting, but a film like that can go either way. Yeah. You never know with the Midnight Madness. All right, so yeah, Sharp Corner. Hey there, Ben Foster. Cool actor who is also starring with Kobe Smulders. You know what we do for you cool actors? who have all of these great dramatic roles, who probably go under the radar but shouldn't, who are now in a Canadian film, you just made the list. All right, and with that, our 10 is done. All right, I am going to appreciate that some people have just joined. So we are going to do a little bit of a recap of where we are before we continue. Don't know, only suggested because of Ma's really well-known Korean director. Okay, fair. Me too. Wendy, what do you mean me too? What happened? All right. As Wendy lets me know what the Me Too part was about, because I need to just the balancing of the comments. Let's kind of do a quick recap of where we are right now. We have selected the film that I can't wait to see more than any other at TIFF is Anora, directed by Sean freaking Baker. Then we went into the buzz list. These are in no particular, none of these films past Anora are really in any particular order. These are 10 films that are either being really talked about or 10 films that I really want to see. Will and Harper, Conclave, Eden, Amelia Perez, Heretic, Millers in Marriage, Flow, Queer, Saturday Night, and The Assessment. Then we went into movies that had to fit a certain criteria. And again, 5 of them had to be directed by a woman. 3 of them had to be Canadian, 4 of them international, 3 of them Black director or Black themed, 1 of them a Midnight Madness movie at midnight, 1 TIFF tribute, 2 TIFF tribute award recipients, and a film representing the LGBTQ community. Again, Will and Harper and Queer both do that, but I didn't want to just say, oh, I'm going to pick one of those. I'm interested in discovering all sorts of different films. So we're about to jump into the others. And that's just it. Just other films that we want to check out. Waiting for the next shoe to drop. No shoes dropping. No shoes dropping. Everything's good. But all right, let's take a look here. You know what? Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to take a break from the list for just a moment. And what I want to do is I respect the fact that there are some people who are watching this or that are going to be going to the Toronto International Film Festival. But I also respect the fact that there are going to be people who aren't. So what I have done is I've compiled a list of 10 recent films that went to TIFF that nobody really seems to have made a lot of buzz about, but are still fantastic films. Some of these films you might look at and say, hey, I'm familiar with these, I've seen them. And some of these movies might be brand spanking new to you. And if that's the case, that's fantastic. Sharing is caring. So before we get into the next slate of films, which is just basically, trying to round out the list, let's take a moment and look at some films. These are 10 films that are just alphabetical that have gone through TIFF, that if you haven't seen them, you can have your own little film festival. And respecting the fact that there are people that are tuning in from different parts, there is an app called Just Watch. You download it. It's a free app. I think there's a paid version. I've never used the paid version, so I don't really know what it does for you. But you can go into it and you can say what streaming services you have, like Netflix, Prime, Paramount, Disney, the streaming services. List them all, and then you put in the movie and it'll tell you what streaming services you can actually see it on. So the first film that I want to bring to your attention is a movie called Colonia. This is a movie, of course, that starred Hermione. And I have to tell you, the fear of being attached to such a huge project like the Harry Potter is are you going to be typecast? Is this going to be all you're known for? Because we've seen that in a lot of roles before. Absolutely not. I think that was just basically her jumping off point. We've seen her in a lot of fantastic movies like The Bling Ring. I think she's an outstanding actor, and very evident in this film, Colonia. Basically, her and her boyfriend are protesters. He gets kidnapped and basically taken to a colony, and he's being held there against his will. And she has to go kind of like undercover to rescue him. This is a fantastic drama, very intense film. Definitely recommend Colonia. Next up, there's a couple of movies on this list that were at TIFF last year and I thought were outstanding, but didn't get a lot of discussion. I actually saw this movie when I was covering Sundance last year, and Fair Play. So we got young Han Solo and the lady from Bridgerton, and basically in this movie they are a hot for each other couple. They are totally into each other. They've just gotten engaged. They're about to be married. They are all over each other. We're talking like sex in public places. They just adore each other, want each other. It's definitely that pre-honeymoon phase. It's fantastic. But here's the thing. They both work together. Nobody at work knows that they're together. And the big promotion that he was up for, she gets it. How does it change the dynamic of their relationship? Check out Fair Play and you'll see. This is a great movie. Again, I saw it at Sundance. It came to TIFF last year. It's on Netflix right now, so there's a little spoiler alert for you. I think it's a great movie. I don't know why it wasn't in more conversations. I know the cycle time of something on Netflix is very quick. You get something this week, boom, next week you get like 10 more things. But I would definitely recommend Fair Play. I love Daniel Bruhl and Michael Nyquist. Yeah, absolutely. Two outstanding actors. Great movie. Yeah, Fair Play. Definitely check that out. Okay, we move. This is another film. The poster of this film is over in the next room. I love this movie. Do not see the Kevin Hart, Bryan Cranston version before you see this. And do not watch it dubbed. This is a French film, Les Intouchables, and it basically tells the true story of a very wealthy man who's a quadriplegic, excuse me, and he is constantly going through caregivers. They can't keep up with him, and then he comes across he hires this guy who is not going to coddle him in any way, shape, or form, and it is just the beautiful friendship that they form. I love everything about this movie: the acting, the story, the cinematography, the score. This is such a phenomenal film. I cannot recommend this movie more. A lot of people have seen it, but again, is it something that I have tons of conversations with people about? It is not, but definitely want to recommend checking out Les Intouchables. Next, Nocturnal Animals. We talked about security a moment ago with Denzel Washington. The other person at TIFF who received crazy security to the point where the dude had a motorcade was Tom Ford, the fashion icon and director of Nocturnal Animals. This movie was fantastic. Jake Gyllenhaal, Amy Adams, Michael Shannon. And it basically, it's kind of a couple of stories in one, but basically what we're dealing with here is the Jake Gyllenhaal character was in a relationship with the Amy Adams character, and he sends her a book that he's written. And it basically, she basically reads it, and it just basically plays out, taking into account a lot of the memories from their previous relationship. This is an intense thriller. Tom Ford has no business being this good of a filmmaker, but he is. This movie is absolutely outstanding, and again, definitely recommend checking out Nocturnal Animals. Quick little side note about this film: there were two versions of this movie. There's a movie that starts off with several plus-sized women naked, dancing and smiling and having a good time. The other version, which was the theatrical release, didn't have those women, which was disappointing. So what I will say, and this doesn't really take away, actually, I'll give you a little bit of the symbolism of that. So the movie starts off again with these women dancing, and they're plus sized women. They're completely naked, and they're dancing and having a wonderful time. And there's two parts of that, and I'm going to give you the first part. The second part you'll have to get by watching the film. But it's basically Tom Ford's way of saying our society deems these women as unattractive, but they are the happiest people that you see in the first little bit of the movie. They're dancing, they're having a good time, they're celebrating life. They're just everything, every sort of connotation that society has put on them, he's flipping in that one scene. And that's just in the opening scene. This movie is incredible. So if you haven't, definitely check out Nocturnal Animals. Next, we spoke about Coralie Farge. She's got, of course, she's the director behind The Substance. She was also the director behind this movie, Revenge, which played in Midnight Madness several years ago. This movie, the tagline was something like, "Don't take your mistress on a guy's weekend," or just don't have a mistress. I don't know. This movie was very interesting as well because you've got this young woman's with her lover and his guy friends miles and miles away from civilization. They had to take a helicopter in to get there, and due to certain situations, they she is left in a position where she is basically fighting for her life, and it is a fantastic blood-soaked thrill ride, which you would see, which would perfectly fit in with the Midnight Madness crowd. So this is a great film, and definitely check that one out. Okay. Signing off for now. See you in Toronto. Ricky, thanks so much for taking the time. Appreciate it. And you will definitely see me in Toronto. I'm really looking forward to it. There are people that I look forward to seeing at TIFF, and there are people that I like hurdle over other people to get to, and that is definitely Ricky. Okay, the next movie that I want to talk about is the Belko Experiment. This was, again, in the Midnight Madness program, and basically it says Office Space meets Battle Royale. It's not far off. So basically what you've got in this movie is you've got a bunch of people working in this office building in South America, this unassuming office building, and then all of a sudden the building's under lockdown, and they're basically told, you've got to start killing your coworkers or we're going to kill you. Well, how are we going to kill you? Well, for security reasons, all the employees have a chip embedded in their head, and whoever's behind this is going to explode the chip. So it's basically kill or be killed. So did I mention it's a violent movie? So definitely worth checking out. The next movie that I would recommend for those looking to beef up on TIFF films that have gone to the festival before, but people haven't really talked a lot about, The Burial. This is a movie that is on Prime Video. Jamie Foxx plays the big hotshot attorney and basically comes to help out Tommy Lee Jones, who has got a lawsuit against a big major company, and it's a really fun courtroom drama with a little bit of humor thrown into it. The Florida Project, I mentioned that earlier. Of course, we are looking at a movie by Sean Baker, his second film, his second major film. And again, we're looking at a family that lives just below the poverty line, that is dying to make ends meet, while meanwhile they live pretty much right across the street from Disneyland. And not just the fact that he takes a look at the perspective of this group of people, but also how the movie is shot, how he puts it all together. It's fantastic. Another movie that I love. I'm probably going to end up getting a Florida Project poster and finding a spot for that on the wall. I love that movie. The New Girlfriend. Okay, don't want to say too much about this movie, so I'll say this. Gentleman is married. Him and his wife have a newborn baby. Unfortunately, his wife passes away. And basically, it's what will he do to calm his crying, inconsolable baby? That is The New Girlfriend. It is a French movie. It's a fantastic film. And again, I definitely recommend that be one that you see. We're going to round out this top 10, not even top 10, but 10 recommendations list. Wasn't a top 10 by any means, but this 10 list of recommendations with top 5. when I first saw Chris Rock from an acting standpoint, um, and it was told to him by Morgan Freeman, the overacting was just out of control. But he matured. His acting, I think, has improved. But not only that, his directing has improved. Top Five is a fantastic film. It basically is the look at the day in the life of a celebrity. He plays an actor who is known for being um, a comedian, but wants to be taken more seriously. And it's everything that happens to him through the course of a day, whether it's dealing with fans, dealing with press, dealing with family. This is an outstanding movie with a murderer's row of an all-star cast. So um, definitely recommend top five if you haven't already seen it. So again, really quick, going backwards, we've got top five. We got The New Girlfriend, The Florida Project, The Burial, The Belko Experiment, Be Nice to Your Coworkers, Revenge, Nocturnal Animals, Les Intouchables, Fair Play, and Colonia. So 10 films again. And if you're looking in terms of where you can find them, the app Just Watch is really your best bet. Great film by Sean Baker. All of his films are terrific. I couldn't agree more. He's an incredible filmmaker, and I'm very excited for Anora. Yeah, his latest is coming to TIFF, and can't wait. I'm most likely going to do the premium screening for that, but we'll see. But I'm very interested in checking it out. Okay. We are going to get back to our list now. And right now, the goal is to find about 10, 15 more films, because right now we are at 21. And again, I am looking at averaging about 4 films a day, which would bring me to about 36, 38 films, depending on when I end up leaving. I have a ticket to get there, to get to Toronto. I don't have a ticket to come back as yet. So let's take a look here at some films that we haven't put on the list yet, but that we want to check out. The only Midnight Madness movie that I'm interested in seeing right off the top is The Substance. Something else might come to me, but we'll see. I've heard a lot of good things about Bird. That might make the list. Conclave, we have. Eden, we have. This is an interesting one here. Fanatical, the catfishing of Tegan and Sarah. I say it's interesting because it's about a Canadian group. I mean, they're from Calgary, but it's not a Canadian film. Gripping documentary charts the global rise of Canadian pop duo Tegan and Sarah, their advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community, and their at once liberating and fraught relationship with social media. I'm surprised that this didn't get the LGBTQ tag, or the Canadian tag, but it's not a Canadian film. So yeah, that looks interesting. Oh, okay, here's one that I know I want to see. Let me put this one down. Freedom Way. This is from Nigeria, and several years ago, TIFF actually had a Nigerian film section to the festival. So a lot of great things coming out of Nigeria. A startup faces unfavorable government laws and police harassment, causing a ripple effect in the lives of 9 individuals, setting them on a collision course. So Freedom Way is definitely going to be put in the others. That is definitely a movie that I'm interested in checking out. Okay. If you're just joining, one of the frustrations with this website is when you hit back, it takes you all the way back up to A, and then you got to come all the way back down. Let's see what we got here. I've heard good things about Grand Tour. We have Heretic. Hold Your Breath looks interesting. We'll come back to that. We may come back to that. We're doing a quick look here to see what are some of the films that I might have missed earlier that I definitely want to add into my list right now. Okay. Kill the Jockey, I've been hearing some good things about. Boasting a truly memorable couple with an already essential filmography, Argentinian auteur Luis Ortega returns to the festival with Kill the Jockey, a heartfelt and wholly unforgettable thriller. This is one of the movies that I wanted to put on the buzz list, but I just ran out of room. But it is going to make my others list. Okay, it's taking a look here. I missed this one earlier. Matt and Mara, what's this one? Oh, I remember you. You look like, could it be? Yeah, the director of Blackberry. Okay, what do we got going on here? Struggling with a new baby and a distracted husband, an academic is more than happy to hang out with a college pal who crashes back into her life. But what sort of relationship are they resuming precisely? Who's in this one? Okay, so we got the Blackberry director. Interesting. Okay. This is another film. It's an 80-minute Canadian movie. So this is another film that I'm going to put down in the maybe list. Was it Matt and Mara? Did I say that right? Yeah. Because this is another one that I could potentially get a screener for. No guarantees, but potentially. And if not, then we'll revisit it. Meat. What kind of meat? Sausage? Steak? In a tale rooted in ancient Greek tragedy, a patriarch must decide the fate of his son and the boy he raised when a long-standing, unneighborly feud turns to murder. Wow. Okay. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. Oh, okay, I'm getting better at getting right back to it, though. Oh, I wanted to see Megalopolis so bad. But I will see it when it comes out a couple weeks after it shows at TIFF. Okay, Nutcrackers, I don't believe we put on the list because we were kind of like, it'd be good to see the opening night film, but I'm not sure. Okay, we'll put it in now. Okay. Hearing good things about Pedro Paramo. Saturday night we have I want to be very careful also not getting into a situation of just going to see things for the sake of going to see things. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Okay, the cut looked interesting to me. Um, Orlando Bloom, John Turturro, and Katrina Balfe. This visceral drama from Sean Ellis follows a retired fighter obsessed with getting back in the ring, even if it costs him his life. Yeah. United Kingdom. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. Okay, this one looks cute. Bill Murray, Naomi Watts, and a charismatic Great Dane named Bing propel this wise and insightful character drama based on the acclaimed novel. Okay. I need something light, so we're going to go with The Friend. And why am I seeing it? Because there's a woof woof. Okay. Okay, The Last Showgirl looks interesting to me. A couple of things. It's directed by Gia Coppola, so from the Coppola family. We've also got this plot here. Check this out. A seasoned performer must plan for her future when her show abruptly closes after a 30-year run, starring Pamela Anderson, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Dave Bautista. So I can't recall the last time or any time Pamela Anderson was in anything that we kind of took her seriously in terms of a dramatic actress, with all due respect to her slow motion beach running. But this movie looks very interesting to me. I love the fact that a Coppola is involved, because from that perspective, it's not going to suck. So yeah, Last Showgirl. Okay, there's a couple here. The Luckiest Man in America. Of course, this is based on a true story. This is the TIFF had the Woman of the Hour game show True Story last year, and that this year they get this one featuring Paul Walter Hauser. A lot of you will know him as Stingray from Cobra Kai. He's also Richard Jewell in other great movies, but come on, Stingray. The Stranger Than Fiction drama resurrects a hugely popular 80s game show and the luckiest man in America who broke it. So this is kind of like a behind the scenes of this guy who went on a game show, did extremely well, and there was talk on whether or not he cheated on the game show. I'm into this for Paul Walter Hauser. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he blends into his roles extremely, extremely well. So yeah, let's go ahead and put this one down. All righty. So the listeners, this is a series. It's directed by Jancica Bravo, who did a fantastic film that I saw at Sundance years ago called Zola. The only thing is, it's only 88 minutes, but apparently, I'll read it. Rebecca Hall stars as Claire, a school teacher who begins to hear a sound that no one else around her seems to. She hears a sound that nobody around her seems to. I'm sure there are a lot of wives who feel that they have the same predicament because their husbands don't hear them. Anyways, in this enigmatic adaptation of a novel of the same name. Looks kind of interesting. Am I really excited about it? No. Ooh, The Order. What's going on here with you shooting off the shotgun? Featuring startling performances from Jude Law and Ty Sheridan, this riveting historical thriller follows the FBI's investigation into a domestic terrorist group determined to impose their racist ideology onto mainstream society. All right, let's go. The Order. Oh, how did this not make my buzz list? The Room Next Door, 100%. A lot of Oscar buzz around this. This is why you go through the list a couple of times. Two longtime friends, played by Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore, face the challenges of an illness while grappling with past, present, and future in Pedro's first English language feature. I'm surprised it's his first English language. Oh, you know what? He did The Human Voice, but that was a short. Okay, yeah. The Room Next. Why wasn't this in before? Why didn't you guys shake me? This could have been on the buzz list, quite frankly. But yeah, definitely seeing this one. I'm gonna do it for Pedro. Okay. See, now we're getting somewhere. The Seed of the Sacred Fig is an extremely bizarre title, but is also getting a ton of love and attention. From renowned filmmaker, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, which won a special jury prize at Cannes, is a social drama turned cat and mouse thriller that will have you on the edge of your why am I not just typing out the title? Let's go. The Seed of the Sacred Fig. And here, Cannes winner. Not the Cannes winner, but it was a Cannes winner, just so we're clear on that. All right. Still mulling over that Tragically Hip one. I'm not going to lie. They Will Be Dust. They Will Be Dust. Okay, what do we got here? Unequal parts contemporary dance, musical, and ensemble drama. They Will Be Dust reaches for a raw emotional core of humanity in all its inherent messiness. Okay. Don't know if who do we have in the it's Spain, Italy, Switzerland. Okay. They Will Be Dust. I'm not sure if that was like because they're older. I'm just saying. Oh, and it took me to the back, to the top. Okay, hang on. Again, I apologize for those people that I'm making. Wait a second. What's going on? Oh, market screening. This looked interesting too. Okay, can't see that. I can't see market screenings, by the way. I don't think we touched on that. These are for people who are interested in buying the film. We didn't see this one either. The Ballad of Suzanne Cesare. Inspired by the life of The Ballad of Suzanne is a sumptuous, don't use that word enough, critical reflection of art, love, and politics, employing the spells of cinema to contend with an elusive legacy. Who's the programmer? Andrea Picard. She's pretty good. Uh, 75 minutes, though. Okay, you know what we're doing with that one? Maybe. I was familiar with some of these titles. Obviously, many of them I'm not. I wanted to try to make tonight as authentic and outside of Honora, nothing else was like really 100%. Okay. There were things that I knew I was excited about, but nothing on the Honora level. The End, the Deb. Rebel Wilson is directing a movie. I should be more excited for it than I am. I'm just not. Plus, it's the closing night film, which closing night films can be decent, but they're never really outstanding. Let's take a look here. I was told to stay away from the shrouds, so I'm going to stay away from the shrouds. What is this one? 3 friends. Oh, market screening. Never mind. Unstoppable. Okay. When They See Us was the name of the series on Netflix. And then there was also Moonlight. Jarrell Jerome is an outstanding actor, and he's in this, of course, with Bobby Cannavale. Don Cheadle, Jennifer Lopez. But truth be told, what I'm excited about this, and I read the description for this one before. Jarrell Jerome's in it, so I'm going to see it. Gives another outstanding performance amid a star-studded cast in this heartfelt sports drama about a college wrestler who dreams of going pro. Okay, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and put on Unstoppable. Okay. Oh, and of course it brings me back to the top. Whoops. TUV. Okay, here we go. I told you I know my ABDs. Viet and Nam. Okay, let's take a look at some of these descriptions here. Amidst the darkness, 1,000 meters underground sparkles an intimate romance between Viet and Nam in this mystical story of two young miners in search of a brighter future. Like, do they get trapped in the mine? Okay, what else we got? Vice is broke. We haven't really looked at a lot of documentaries. Eddie Huang of Huang's World undertakes a first-person investigation into how Vice went from scrappy Montreal indie magazine to media giant. He interviews former contributors who were crucial to the rise and witnessed its downfall. So this kind of, hear me out. This kind of reminds me of the whole Ashley Madison documentary, in that you've got this company that a lot of people didn't know was Canadian, and then it had like this big rise, no pun intended, and then a fall. So I'm gonna go that I don't have any documentaries, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw this on my. Oh wait, no, Jerome, you are not a maybe. You are in, my friend. We're gonna put Vice is broke on the maybe list though, because that does sound interesting. Okay, Village Keeper. What do you got going on here? After a massive loss, an overwhelmed Toronto mother discovers a very unusual way to process her grief. Begrudgingly lives with her mother in an apartment complex in North York. Despite the kids learning to become more self-sufficient, Tamika has a side business braiding hair. Beverly Jean's vision is too clouded by the past and by her interventions when they face challenges like bullying and panic attacks to see that they're growing. On top of helping her children cope, she's haunted by violence in both her past and present and faces both casual and overt racism. Therapy and a unique coping mechanism to help. And her therapist tells her if she can't take care of herself, how can she take care of anyone else? Oh, okay. Again, we've got a short Canadian film, which I'm very interested in seeing. I'm putting it here. Whoops. On this list for screeners. Now, again, there is the hope that I can reach out to the publicist and get a screener to see this film. And if not, then we'll look into it, seeing it at the festival. But I'm definitely interested in seeing what this movie's about. Okay. We Live in Time. I saw the trailer for this last night, and I know it's coming to theaters, but it looks pretty cool. We've got featuring gorgeously detailed performances from Oscar nominees Florence Pugh, and Andrew Garfield. This inventively structured romance explores the question of how to make the most of our time in this world. Yeah, We Live in Time. That's going to make the list. That looks very interesting to me. I'm a big Florence Pugh fan. I think Garfield is underrated. Garfield's had a lot of good stuff come through the festival as well, too. Why does this sound familiar? Went Up the Hill. Oh, you know what? Because I think we looked at this like about half an hour ago. Okay. They're doing an anniversary screening of Whiplash. Okay. This is a new Angelina Jolie film without blood. We got Salma Hayek in here. Tale of Family War and Revenge. Don't get me wrong. Angelina Jolie's done some decent films. I just don't know about this one. Don't know if I want to see this at the festival or just wait for it to get released. Wishing on a Star. Okay. All right, let's take a look and see where we are right now. We have got, okay, we've got Nora, then we've got our buzz list of 10, and then our make the list movies. So that brings us to 21. So we're about 30, 32 films in with a bunch of maybes. Okay. What I'm going to do, because I've gone through this list a few times, these are movies without question that I'm going to be seeing at TIFF. Nora, everything on the buzz list, everything in this list here. And then the others, the maybes are just that. They're maybes. I'm going to start building out the schedule, but that's really an exercise in Jenga, trying to see what fits and what doesn't. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get ready to end this stream soon. But before I do, I did say we were going to do some giveaways, and we're going to do that right now. So it pays to stick around. Now, okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go forth and be merry. I'm going to go forth, build out a schedule with these films, cross-reference and see if there's any films that I might have missed. Nothing that I've added is being taken off, because otherwise, why do we do this? It's just a question of what's going to be added on to it. So we'll take a look at that. Okay, so first and foremost, hang on. Mr. Hauser, how did it get past you? How did it get past you? I think you're talking about the Pedro movie, and if so, I don't know. Okay, what I'd like you to do, if you're still here, give me a hashtag, because I'm going to do a draw for movie passes. Again, this is for my Canadian friends only. If you're dialing in from overseas, I'm afraid I'm not able to send you to the movies. But for those in Canada, I want you to throw in the comments hashtag TIFF. I'm going to be doing a draw for a couple of passes that you can get, that I will give to you, that you can go and see a film at the nearest Cineplex to you. And for if whatever reason you don't live near a Cineplex and you live near a landmark, then I'll send you passes to go and see a landmark film. So go ahead and hit hashtag TIFF, TIFF, in the comments, and I'll give you a few moments to do that, and then I'm going to draw. But yeah, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do kind of like one more sweep of this, and then and then figure out what the final list is going to look like. So yeah, if you are still here, the hashtag TIFF, throw it in the comments. I've not seen any yet, which tells me I might have lost you all, which again, I know this is not the normal type of stream that we do. Usually we're talking like Oscars and all that good stuff. So if you are still here, by all means, throw a hashtag TIFF in, and if not, we're gonna go ahead and end this in a few moments. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to check this out. Hopefully, you found it somewhat interesting. I hope to do more live streams as we go on. But I'm very excited about heading down to Toronto, and I am excited about bringing you information on all of these movies and more, and the whole TIFF experience. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great time. Okay, so with that, I will say thank you so much for tuning in. For those who did, for those who are checking this out after on YouTube, you missed a lot of fun. And as always, my name's Keith. I'll see you at the movies.